It is a beautiful Friday here in Nigeria, and I am much delighted to welcome you to the first episode of Author Lifestyle and Book Talk Show by Eye Opener Productions. Today, on our first episode, I would like to introduce to you author Jill Sharon Kimmelman. Please say hello.
Hello. Hello. It's lovely to be here and thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. Jill Sharon Kimmelman is a two-time Pushcart Prize nominee in poetry, 2017 and 2021, and Best of the Net 2018 nominee. Her international publishing credits include Vita Brevis Press, Spewwords Press, Fine Lines, Better Than Poetry and Fiction Journal, Poetic Musings, The Poet Magazine, ILA Magazine, Prolific Force Press, World Anchors Network, Garden of Neuro, Writing in a Woman's Voice, PLCS, Eric Publications, and Mindful Magazine. Her long-awaited literary debut, You Are the Poem, a three-themed collection poetry act, was released in November 2021. The ebook and iBook versions, released in April 2022, includes original artwork, vintage photos, links to videos, unique collages, and more than a dozen poems. She lives in Delaware, USA, with her husband, Tim Little, and is a proud mother of her son, Jordan. Author Lifestyle and Book Talk Show, Jill. It is wonderful having you here today.
Thank you. All of those magazines and books, awesome. That's great.
Okay. So, Jill, our audience would appreciate an insight into your childhood, teenagehood, and adulthood. Was your upbringing influential to your writing?
Yes, I was the first child of my parents, and I was the first grandchild. And so it was magical. It was absolutely a magical childhood. And I guess you would say that my childhood ended when I was 18. I was a first semester freshman in college, and my dad passed away. So that turned my life around, as well as my plans for adulthood. It changed. But yes, I was encouraged to write when I was a kid. When I was in high school, it was less poetry and more journalism. I was the editor of my high school newspaper, and I held other positions during high school. So journalism was really big for me. Poetry was always there. I wrote my first poem when I was 7. So poetry was always there.
Wow, that's so young, 7 years old, and you were writing your first poem.
Yes, it wasn't good. It was terrible, like you'd expect. And when I was 4, I taught myself to read from a poetry book. I think I was,
Wow,
thank you. I think I
that's so
was
lovely.
more interested in the pictures because they had classic artwork next to each poem. So each time I was drawn to these magnificent paintings, and I wanted to know what these poems said, and I taught myself to read that way. So
Wow, that
poetry has always been big. Yes.
and you are such a magnificent poet. You use
Thank
such
you.
easy and really lyrical musical poems that touch the heart. I love your poem, your poetry book. You are the poem. Would you like sharing your book with us?
Sure.
Wow, that's the book of. I
I
believe
took the photograph.
Mr.
I took the
Sappers
photograph.
that is the book
Oh,
of the century.
thank you.
Okay.
Annette Tarpley designed the cover. I took the photograph, and Annette created the cover design. And I love it
Pretty.
because it's simple. It's
Yes,
really easy to remember, and it's pretty, and it looks like a gift. And that's really how I think of it.
it does. It does.
Yep,
Very much for sharing your book and giving us
my pleasure.
to your writing. Jill, we would also like to know how long you've been writing.
Seriously, or starting at age 7? Which do you want? Seriously?
From, from age
As
7 to now, you
from,
have us know
from age,
years.
I would say I stopped writing poetry probably when I was 18 and
Okay.
didn't write anything again until 2017. My very first poem was published in October of 2017. I had been working really hard. Once I discovered there was poetry still in me, it was shuttered, it was closed off, but it was there. And it was my first love. And I found that it was there and I wanted to do something with it. So I joined a group online where you learn to hone your writing skills. And I really do believe that being exposed to so many other poets' work was so much better than writing in a vacuum. So you learn from their critique of your work as much as your critique of their work. So I always say to people, if you're starting out, it helps to get that critique, that constructive feedback. It makes all the difference in your work.
Thank you very much for that beautiful answer. I believe that when you start writing poems and you get acquainted with the art of poetry, it's really leave you. It stays in the heart.
It stays in the heart
Yes.
until you're done. And then, as hard as it is sometimes, you have to remember, I'm moving on. This isn't my poem anymore. Let other people allow it to enrich their lives. And that's what I hope for.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, Jill. Does your adulthood enhance your writing skills with regards to poetry? I mean, your experiences in life as an adult.
Yes.
Does it influence your writing? Okay. Would you please share a little about that?
I would say that as an adult, we have challenges in our lives that we didn't have earlier on. Things came easier. Health issues didn't interfere. So when you're younger, it's all the experiences, good and bad, that you get, the blessings and the lessons, and all of that influences your work. Absolutely. So I would say that being an adult who understands what's happening,
Okay.
gets my work done.
Would you like to let us know where you live and your neighborhood precisely?
Sure.
Does it influence your writing? Does it give you a writer's block, or it contributes to the success of your writing?
No. Where I live in Wilmington, Delaware, is not where I grew up. It doesn't affect my writing so much. I'm not quite sure I understand the question completely.
Okay. I think I'm going to take it in another way. I meant that your neighborhood, is it this environment? Well, if it's serene or not, are there things that trigger or inspire you to write in your poems or to pass across to the world from what you see in your neighborhood?
I don't have a neighborhood really, because we live in a 16-story condo building. So I don't really have a neighborhood, but we have enough exciting things happening in our lives, just every month something different. So all of that allows me plenty of material to write about. Just this.
That's sweet. Well, would you like to share about your childhood? I mean, growing up, the neighborhood around your family, the setup. How influential was that to your writing?
My family, my mother enjoys the poetry. No one else in my family does.
I think your mom is very supportive, and I really commend her for the love and the support.
She's always been the best cheerleader until Tim. Absolutely. He can be objective. When I read him things, he's objective. He helps me. He gave me a title the other day for a poem that I didn't really care for the title. He gave me a new title. So yes, I'm encouraged to write. But my sister and my brother and my sister-in-law, if they don't want to hear any poetry. As a matter of fact, when I
shout out to your mom and Tim Little
and
for
Tim,
the endless support showered in you. They are amazing souls. All right. So, Jill, I believe that most writers have battle with writer's block in poetry and other genres. As a writer, when you experience writer's block, what places do you go in order to get yourself inspired? Or what do you do in order to seek inspiration?
That's a very good question, and I thought about that answer. Writer's block can be horrible and frustrating and angering. However, if you decide to just step away and don't criticize yourself for it, step away and do something else related to writing, like submitting your poetry. Sometimes you lose track of when was the last time I actually submitted any of my work. You ask yourself that question. So instead of fighting the writer's block, look at the poems that you're very proud of and submit them to literary publications. That's my answer to getting away from writer's block. And when you're ready,
brilliant.
It will come. It will come. Absolutely.
Yes.
It will come back. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. I believe your audience will really hold on to that. All right. Besides writing, what else makes you happy, Jill?
I love reading aloud. I love doing that with him. We've probably read about 70 books in 10 years.
That's a lot.
It is. We started with an amazing interactive book series called Griffin and Sabine. And the cool thing about the books are they've never met one another. One lives in London and one lives in the South Seas in Fiji. And yet they have the ability to connect with one another without phones and without ever seeing each other. So in the books, and they're both artists. So in the books, you actually have letters that they write to each other, and you open up the envelopes and there inside are the letters, and they're beautiful. And it's not poetry, but it's just so gorgeous that it fits that poetry umbrella. And that's those 3 books came as a trilogy. And that's the first thing that we ever read together. And I love that. So reading aloud is right up there. Traveling, but unfortunately we're not able to do that. But I have always enjoyed traveling, and cooking and baking. I love being
that.
Yeah, I love being. I'll be happy here. I don't know. Here's one dessert.
Yes, that's from You Are the Poem.
That's from You Are the Poem. And then there's another gorgeous dessert that is in the iBook version. And I actually I made that dessert, photographed it, and then had a glass print made of it. And it's in my kitchen.
Well, I believe your audience would like to see all that. So
I can share that with you.
Until we share videos and photographs from the.
Sure.
Jill, as an author, who are your favorite authors and your most cherished books?
My most cherished books, I've got a lot of them right here.
Having read 70 books, I believe you have a lot of authors, I mean.
Huckleberry Finn is one of my favorite. It's an American classic. I absolutely love the book March, March, like the month. And it tells the story of one of the characters from Little Women. If you haven't read Little Women, it's a classic. It took place during the Civil War, and it was written by a very wonderful, talented woman, Louisa May Alcott. And she was an abolitionist back in the 1850s and 60s. Little Women is up there with Huckleberry Finn. Little Women is tied into the story of March because there were daughters, and the father went as a Union chaplain. March is his story, the character who wasn't in the book, but the children all spoke about him and waited for his letters, and the mother the same thing. So it's just absolutely phenomenal to think that an author took someone else's idea and a successful book and created with that one character a whole nother story. So I absolutely love March. It won the Pulitzer just a couple of years ago. That's really good. When I was as a child, my favorite book is called A Little Princess, and the illustrations are magnificent. And Tim found the book for me.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for your lovely answer.
Mm-hmm.
We'll break now, and we'll return to more interesting questions and answers with Jill. Please stay tuned. Are you a writer who owns a YouTube channel and would like your poems made into unique poetry videos that will entertain your audience? Eye Opener Productions offers various types of poetry videos like animation, spoken words, and real-life poetry videos. We also offer trailer videos to promote your debut releases. Knock our door and we'll be there to offer you professional book cover designs. Eye Opener Productions also offers book publication services of international standard. We offer website development services. Check out a few samples of our projects through the links below: www.cacgrammarschoolakure.com, www.expressyourloveforliterature.blog. We offer app creation services. Contact us at eyeopenerproductionservices@gmail.com. Eye Opener Productions, making positive changes. I warmly welcome you back to the show. It's still your host, Elizabeth Ogunmodede. Before we go on, allow me to share with you a few tidbits. Sharon Kimmelman's passions include reading aloud, cooking from the heart, dramatic and musical theater, book discussions, flower arranging, and photography of food and flowers. I believe that's something your fan base love about you, Jill.
Thank you.
Right. Well, this is a very important question, and I would love you to take your time, Jill, and give your audience an answer that they would respect and give an insight more into your character. Jill, you are a respected literary icon and a strong woman. In the midst of all your challenges, you keep pushing through. You keep sharing love. You keep giving everyone support and making sure that people smile. And it's really special to have you in our midst in the literary community. Do you mind telling us what keeps driving you to live each beautiful day and fight for your joy the way you do?
What choice do I have, right? You meet challenges and you find ways to learn from those challenges. Some challenges are simple and we figure them out quickly and jump that. And then the next challenge, maybe it's a little bit more challenging, so to speak, but we figure it out together. What I'm going through right now is pretty significant. It's going to take me away from my everyday life for a little while, but the attitude is so important. The mindset of optimism. What else can I do? So absolutely bring them on and I will keep on staying strong.
Thank you so much for that lovely message. On behalf of the entire literary community, I say a big thank you to you for staying strong and giving us your love. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Here's a fun question. If you weren't North American, which continent would you have loved to originate from and why?
I would have loved to be Venice, Italy. Italy.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So why Venice?
I have wanted to go to Venice since I was 4 years old, and I've never gotten there. I've just always wanted to see that. Stay in a phenomenal hotel that was built as in the 1500s and see everything. And oh my goodness, that's where I would have loved to be.
Oh, that's
Closer, but not any really closer for us, but closer physically would be Savannah, Georgia. I would love to go there. Still in the United States, but yeah.
all right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Here's another important question. If you were to change the world with your pen, what would you write about?
Empowering women from birth.
That's beautiful.
From birth, so that they know that they are equal, so that they know there's nothing that they cannot do. I believe in that.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
would you like to read an excerpt from your favorite poetry book by any contemporary author of your choice?
I love, well, my favorite, you want to know my favorite books, or do you want to know
No, just your favorite poet. I mean, I would like
my
you
favorite poet?
to read
I'd
yes,
say
a poem by your favorite poet.
I have a poem I would love to do. Would you like me to recite it now?
Of course.
Okay. I love Maya Angelou. And so this is a perfect example of her work. And this particular poem just speaks to me. Okay. It's called Phenomenal Woman by Maya Angelou. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman. That's me. I walk into a room just as cool as you please. And to a man, the fellows stand or fall down on their knees. Then they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's the fire in my eyes and the flash of my teeth, the swing in my waist and the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman. That's me. Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say it's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the ride of my breasts, the grace of my style. I'm a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman. That's me. Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say, it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hand, the need of my care, 'cause I'm a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman. That's me.
I'm also
Thank
a
you.
huge fan of Maya Angelou, and I really love this poem too. Thank you very
Me
much,
too.
Jill. So I will be reading a poem from Jill's poetry book, You Are the Poem, titled Let Peace In. Let Peace In. I really love this poem, and I love
Thank you.
I love this song that was made out of by Tim Little. It inspires me. I listen to it every time I feel like getting into thoughts with your poem when I'm reading it. So, let peace in. A note from the author. My idea has always been that if we could bring the mothers of various nations together, then there would be no more war. When you pass the climbing fences, just to pound upon your door at 3 a.m. Forgive yourself, look ahead, let peace in. Technicolor dreams, douse your heart with hot flash paint. Show them your cleanest morning thing. Forgive yourself, look ahead, let peace in. Screaming, shooting, shouting, far too much for you to bear. Forgive yourself, look ahead, let peace in. If it's killing you to peer into tomorrow, and the tide of death they're cooling in gold, drown your pillow ashes run fast as the wind. Go now. To begin, all is forgiven. Look, let peace in. Throw your jaws open wide. Clear the blinds from your eyes. Look ahead. Look beyond. Now to begin. Please, let peace in. All is forgiven. By Look ahead. That is one of my favorite ones. I really, really love it.
Thank you. That was beautifully read.
Thank you very much, Jill. Jill, would you like to say a few words to the audience before we end the show?
I thank you for coming, and I'm extremely excited about seeing what project next will be coming from Eye Opener Productions and Elizabeth.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Jill. I'm so happy to have you with us here today. So this brings us to the end of today's episode of Author's Lifestyle and Book Talk Show. It has been a brilliant time with author Jill Sharon Kimmelman, and I hope to host her sometime again. To the viewers, I say thank you for staying to the show. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel called Express Your Love for Literature, like and comment on our videos. I am Elizabeth Ogunmodede, a teen author, poet, website developer, a publisher, a graphic designer, and a product designer. I am your host on this show, sending you my warm regards. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all. Forgive yourself, look ahead, let peace in.